Well, a big win, an absolute must win. The Lions got it done today, beating the Cowboys 44-30. It's also beautiful because it is Dallas, and Dallas, man, they were fighting back. This is a hot football team coming off beating Philly, Kansas City, roared back against Philly. Kansas City was pretty impressive. I thought that their ability to pull themselves out of some big holes in that game, man, convert some third and longs is pretty impressive. But man, oh, they got a kicker now. That is facts. They have a nasty kicker. That dude is annoying. I'm glad I'm not in a division with that guy. That's frustrating. Watch him just knock down everything easy and you just assume everything's going in. I don't like that. But from the Lions side of things, man, they got a much needed win. A couple of guys got banged up. Brian Branch, hopefully he's okay. Ankle injury, he's been dealing with that. Hopefully it's not too serious. Shout out to Daniel Thomas, man. He's didn't handle business. And then also Sione Vaki on that hit that he made. That's another one that we'll have to keep an eye on. I think those are the two main ones. We saw rotation with Tristan Colon and Miles Frazier at left guard a little bit in this one. I don't have great takeaways now. I'll give better ones later. I mean, I know he had two false start penalties, which weren't great. Miles Frazier, that is. And outside of that, St. Brown played. And St. Brown, I didn't think he was going to play this week. He did not practice this week. My assumption was this guy's not going to go. And he went. He played. And St. Brown, he did his thing, man. I mean, for him being banged up, I mean, he had the one that kind of bounced off his chest when there was some communication seemingly error there. But for the guy to step in and play, like, first off, it was crazy in general. And that's just what St. Brown does, bro. He just plays through it. I mean, he had the one early where he kind of went down, and I wondered if that was an ankle thing. Shout out to Amon-Ra St. Brown, dude. Just an absolute dog. Just an absolute dog. Like, we all know we needed this game, and he just found a way to play through it. So let's talk through this because I do think some key things that happened in this game that took place. Obviously, we'll talk about some of the changes that the Lions made because I do think this ties in well over here on Bleacher Report. We did a show earlier this week, talked about changes that I would have liked to see be made. First one, obviously, we have to hit on is the left guard rotation. KO not being available for this game kind of forced their hand into doing something, but they did rotate and they did get a look at both of those guys. And I think that's good. Now, I mean, where do they go from here? I don't know. I don't know where they go from here. Um, Cologne, I think, had a pretty bad loss. Frazier had some false starts. But the point is, they got it done with both those guys, and they got a sense of what both of them can do outside of the penalties, and they'll have that to build on. They'll be able to look at that film and go from there and, see how they want to roll going forward. And depending on how long KO's out, you can continue rotating. You can find one of those guys and roll forward with them. But reality is they had to figure that out. They had to figure it out. And I'm glad they were able to get that going and jump start and get a look at both of those guys and put some film out there for both of them playing left guard to just see what it looks like. Shout out to Graham coming off an injury too, playing. Both of our tackles playing, both dealing with injuries. Shout out to both those guys. All the guys are playing through something at this point. But a lot of respect for those guys. And it mattered. It mattered getting Graham Glasgow back. I really felt like it did in this game. And I think we felt that. I mean, even some of the explosive runs that we had, one of the touchdowns for Gibbs, we got right behind Quinton Williams, who's an absolute animal. We had to push around Kenny Clark. I think we did occasionally, which was good. So shout out to those guys, man. That was the first big thing, and we did that. The second thing, getting Monty going again. We had to get Monty going again. But I will say as a whole, right, because that's more of like a broad approach was like we have to get Monty going, let him get going. Because I didn't think Gibbs was great in some of the lanes that were there and getting to the cutback things. But it was the idea of, hey, man, let's get Monty going again in the sense of we have to be able to find and pick and choose the spots when we can lean into him. I thought we could in this game. I don't think they completely did. But also for this game specifically, the approach of letting the ball be in Goff's hands and win through the passing game essentially for a majority of this game and then kind of run off of that, it was the right approach. And I we said in pregame, I was like, hey, man, I love that idea. That's how I would go about it. Like and I said, if I'm Dan Campbell, you can come out, try to run it. If it's not going well, let this be a passing game for your team, right? I understand who we want to be at our core, but let it be that. And I was hoping that Dan wouldn't get super hard-headed in this game in terms of like, that's not working, but I'm going to keep doing it. I understood it. That's the mindset coming in. We want to push these guys around, but if it's not doing it, let's not keep doing it. And I think for a majority of this game, he was willing to not do that. He was willing to put the ball in Goff's hands. He's willing to throw the football to win this football game, and it worked out. And he played with some fire, I think, towards the end there. He played with some fire for a couple of runs until he put the ball in Goff's hands on 3rd down and 6, and we delivered to Jamison Williams. Shot to JMO. He delivered. I mean, I got to be honest. This felt like maybe the best game Jamison has played all year. Like, and it was just from watching it live, obviously, but this may have been the best performance from Jamison Williams all year in my eyes. This guy came through, made some fantastic grabs, got himself open a lot, one-on-one. And look, man, Dallas is not great at defensive back. We saw that. We saw that in this game. Deron Bland got picked on. But Jameson Williams took advantage of those matchups. And the second part of that, too, is the middle of the field was going to be where they were going to be weak. That's why I wanted to come out and throw it, right? Use Gibbs in the pass game. They absolutely did that. He felt like a receiver again this week, which is awesome because he's so talented in that role. But what their weakness was, Stewart in the slot corner, they exposed all of it. They took advantage of all of those weaknesses. And you saw the match coverage. Like, they took advantage of all. They got the ball out, let him run after catch. They did all those things to take advantage of what Dallas does. And I think that it was a clear awareness schematically of like, okay, who are we facing here? There's a clear point to their weakness. Let's lean into that. And those guys delivered across the board. So there were times where maybe I thought we leaned into the run a little bit more than we needed to. But for the most part, we were a passing team in this game. We won behind the pass, and those guys all delivered. And they should, right? That's where our money is. Those guys should deliver. We trust them to do that. And in a game where it's their game to go shine, they did that. It was cool to see that at home. Everything was lined up to go do that. And let's be honest here. The season was on the line. In a lot of ways, the season was on the line tonight. And so to be able to have a game where you can say to yourself, hey, man, it's important that we are going to have to win by throwing the football, that you were able to just do that and you won behind that is fantastic. Outside of it, St. Brown blocked his butt off tonight. I love that. Eagles Nation, thanks, Detroit Lions crushing Cowgirls. We got you. You know what I mean? I wish we'd have handled business against y'all a little earlier, but we got you. You know what I mean? Everybody loves that. There's no person that doesn't love it outside of Cowboys fans, so it's always beautiful. All right, let's dive into this thing, man, because there's a lot to go through plays-wise here. A couple of just stats, though. I want to hit on some stats, though, before we get too far into this. Lions got a lot of sacks in this game, and it's always a marriage, right? Two things have to come together. We got a lot of those late. Guys, I'm sorry. An ad popped up on my computer. I'm like, what is going on? That scared me, bro. I thought someone jumped into the stream and was playing guitar. I don't know what that was. Okay, I'm sorry. That was good, though. That threw me off. Okay, I don't know what else. Oh, the sacks. We were getting sacks in this game, man. And, again, another element to this team was, hey, look, where they're not strong is the exterior, right? They're pretty strong in the interior. Tyler Booker, Cooper Beebe, Tyler Smith, they're pretty darn good there. And I'll say two things really came together. Number one, Jack Campbell had to have a big game. He's one of our players to watch coming in. Thought Jack Campbell had a great game. I mean, outside of the one play where he was kind of late in the scrape and he kind of missed the tackle, he was awesome. I thought he forced the fumble. He showed up against the run. He didn't miss many tackles. He was at the point of attack, not letting anything pop. And if you look at what Dallas has done the last couple of games, specifically you saw it against Kansas City, they turned 7-yard runs into 40-yard runs. Javonte was a handful to wrap up. People were bouncing off him. That didn't happen. We were clean tacklers in this game. We got Avonte Maddox came in. He's hitting people. We were clean tacklers between the running backs. Now, we missed some on the outside. CeeDee Lamb gave us some issues. But between the tackles, between these backs, we handled that. We didn't give them big explosives off of it. They ran the ball. Javonte, 17 carries for 67 yards. We'll live with that. They didn't get 100 as a team. They had 90 as a team. Like for me, and 14 of those were Dak Prescott. Malik Davis, 3 for 6. He popped a huge one against Kansas City, I think, for 40 yards. We handled that. And it was fantastic to see it. Jack Campbell's a huge part of that. Got the big punch out, did his thing. He needed to. Lions outran him in this game. Monty, 6 for 60. Man, it was great to get him back to life. And they leaned on Gibbs late, and he delivered late. The offensive line really did deliver late as a whole. So that's fantastic, too. How about getting Malik Cunningham involved a little bit? I didn't know this guy was still on the team. I got to be completely honest with you. We went out there, did a zone read for Malik Cunningham. Now, look, I mean, the idea of what we were doing, not crazy. Right? You came in, you knew they had the 5-man front. It's like, how are you going to work off of that? You got to have a strategy. And Dan brought up this week because we knew it was a problem. It was like, hey, if they got this 5-man front, how are we going to deal with it? Because they're going to create negatives in our run game. And I think from jump, the Lions had a plan to kind of minimize that. You know, you had the split action immediately. You had the boots off it, which you try to utilize. And then they try to run a zone read, which got him a yard, but it was cool because I think the mindset of why they tried that made a lot of sense. It was a smart mindset. Real quick, Dan Campbell's yelling. Okay, he's just yelling. I don't need to play that. I want to see what he's. Okay, he's just yelling. I love it. All right. We'll keep it going from there. All right, we got to get into this. A lot of things to talk about. Here we go. Let's go into this. Yeah, shout out to Muhammad. Had the 3 sacks. Now, again, everybody down the stretch was getting wins. It was more so the coverage wasn't getting there. Hutch was torching that left tackle. Really, from jump in the second half, they put Hutch on Thomas, and he was seemingly a nightmare for him. Muhammad came through a lot. Davenport came through a few times in there. But Muhammad now for the last 2 weeks has gotten some real juice as a rusher. Maybe Muhammad time again. I love how they also came out. One of the other changes that we wanted to see, we talked about on BR, was, hey, get Lee McNeil back in the interior. He's playing more snaps at D end than D tackle. I understand it, but he's a big threat in the interior as a rusher. That's where he feels like he makes his biggest presence. Let him get upfield, let him play off of that. And it was going to stress Campbell. It was going to do it. And he did. And it stressed him and he made plays. And he helped us. But eliminating on the interior, man, like they went back to it. So I think a lot of the key things that we talked about wanting to see change, a lot of it did. A lot of it changed in this game. And they made a lot of those tweaks. And I think they were very valuable as we go forward here. As we walk through this game, let me jump up here to verse. We jump through this thing and we walk through this game offensively, not starting off with a touchdown, but getting points to get things started was great. But I thought ultimately the plan was really smart. I thought the plan was really smart here, right? We come out quick pass to St. Brown. You can try to get the screen going. That one throw was incomplete. We kind of dirted it, but then we go right back to Gibbs. It was a very smart play call because this is a heavy zone team. And on third down, they go a lot of cover 3 or cover 1. We go to that swing screen to Gibbs. We pop it for a first down. That was nice. We check it down to Gibbs. A 5-yard play. We go on the bootleg, again, like we were talking about, kind of using that split action, getting those edge rushers upfield. He hit Ross Dwelly, pick up 5 yards. And then ultimately we had a negative run, which set us back on an outside zone. I think it was the backside. The edge defender crashed out, made the play before we ended up getting sacked, and we had to kick the field goal. But the up to that point was good. I thought the game planning was good. And I will say special teams. I know we had the one field goal that was blocked. Kickoff return and kickoff coverage, couldn't be happier. Like Turpin had one that looked pretty good and it got called back for a flag. Fantastic. Cavante Turpin is one of the biggest playmakers, I think, in football every time the ball touches his hands. And the Lions, outside of one time, put it in his hands. And they handled it. And then on the opposite side, kickoff return, the blocking felt fantastic constantly. And Tom Kennedy took advantage of it. Sailors had some good things in there. They constantly did some good things kickoff return and kickoff wise. I think they won that battle across the board. I mean, they made their field goals, which they have a dog at that. But kickoff return and kickoff coverage, they handled that. And that's all blocking. It's all blocking. These guys aren't even getting touched. And kickoff coverage-wise, it was really sound. Really sound. Give them a lot of credit, man. Those guys stood up in that. And Dan said, as Dan said, like, all 3 units. Well, that phase showed up in this game. That phase showed up. And, shoot, I mean, if they don't get that field goal tipped, he's scoring 47 on these dudes. Defensively, to get us started here, as mentioned, man, we slowed down the run. We didn't give up explosives in the ground game, which I think was the biggest key overall. 3-yard run. They hit the drag route. Thomas Harper gets hurt early. We have to go to Avonte Maddox. Avonte Maddox showed up. Reeder got some pressure. We got Derek Barnes going a little bit. Obviously, he had the huge interception for us. They found some windows. We kind of leaned into some zone against these guys, which made some sense. They hit the little seam route against us. But Aleem McNeil, Rocky Sin, both those guys get on the run stop. Avonte Maddox gives a huge pass breakup, kind of settles down. I think that was the one they threw like the in-breaker to George Pickens. He's kind of steps in front of it, blows that up, doesn't happen. So shout to Maddox. This guy looked like a starter. Yeah, and look, here's the thing. When we signed Avonte, I thought he'd be a safety for us. So I think this is a very natural position for us. That's facts. You didn't feel George Pickens at all in this game. He felt checked out. Vertically, he didn't run at the end, kind of walking on the side. He felt completely checked out of this game. The slant, it was a weak effort. That turned into a pick. I mean, we literally got and that's the thing with, Pickens will get a little emotional, get high and low. It felt like he checked out of this game. Like he just was not in it anymore. And that's a huge credit to the defense. Felt like this dude was not engaged at all as this game rolled along. Is what it felt like. Which is, again, outstanding. Offensively, again, not the start we wanted, maybe. This next drive, 2-yard run to Monty. Not getting that going as consistently as we wanted. We knew they would have their hands full with pretty much everybody outside of Kenny Clark. You have a thrown away pass to St. Brown. It seemed like Goff just kind of threw it at the ground. Maybe had Jim over top, just threw it underneath. And then you have an incomplete pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown, which maybe was going to have a chance, but St. kind of fell, and you're wondering about his ankle. And again, like, here's the thing. As you look at the wide landscape of this, like, yeah, definitely not perfect defensively. Late, we didn't feel like we were great at all. But they did pick each other up, early in the game to have that kind of drive stall out, and defense gets back on the field, and special teams comes through and gets a great punt, and they get penalized. Now they're inside their 5, and defense absolutely delivers on that. Should have had a safety, a 2-yard run, a short pass underneath, a Jack Campbell sack. I mean, dude, that is a great way to balance and play off each other and pick each other up. That's exactly what they did there. They picked each other up on both sides. Should have been 5-0, but it's 3-0, and then it sets us up to go score. It sets us up to go score because now we have another big kick punt return. Everybody's blocking their tails off. It's 21 yards. I don't even know if Tom Kennedy made a move, and we get 20 yards on the punt return. All three units showing up early, man, because offense goes out, scores the first drive, then they stall. Defense responds, right? Defense responds, and we only give up that field goal. Special teams shows up. All those things were showing up. and then we go punch it into the end zone, staying to the same strategy, staying to what worked. Instead of banging our head against the wall trying to run the football like we did right before, 5 yards to Gibbs, another hitch flat, right to Anthony Fursker, right into the flat, first down. Now, penalties, still got to clean those up. Illegal formation, you got new guys in there, tight ends, offensive linemen, new offensive line, still need to clean those up. And all at this point I can hope is that as time goes on, that gets better. We get 10 days off now. You have maybe more Miles Frazier reps, maybe some of these tight ends that aren't constantly playing, maybe they get more reps. But ultimately, we got to eliminate some of these things because there was more than enough plays. It felt like that was obviously another key was, hey, we were at like 8 mistakes last week, and some of that was after watching the film, so maybe I'll see more. And it was like, we have to cut those in half. I don't think we got all the way there cutting those in half. I think we maybe a little bit better, but we didn't get all the way there. You know, the one at the end, Brian Branch, doesn't really help over top. If that's cover 4, if Meek's got to stay, he doesn't. Maybe just get beat on double move, but safe doesn't help. Like, still too many of those. Still way too many of those. But just like last week, with as many as we made, we kept ourselves in the game because we picked up big third downs passing the football. And I would say for another straight week here, we passed the heck out of the football. Did a great job throwing the ball. Like we've figured it out. And schematically, I'm telling you, this is a very smart coaching staff. What they've shown over the last few weeks to me, schematically passing the football. The pass concepts have been smart. They've made sense for the opponent. The overall feel has made a lot of sense. It just comes down to, do we execute it? We got, a ball bounces off of St. Brown, right? We're getting into good checks. Is our pass pro going to be there? Is Goff going to see? But like, we're giving ourselves a lot of opportunities throwing the football. So that has shown up over the last few weeks. And again, we didn't bang our head against the wall. We throw a little screen to get back into it. You isolate St. Brown. I think they did a switch release. You get him on Stewart. Boom. The jet run, fantastic play calling. Fantastic. Because every team I had watched play Dallas up to this point use jet runs, jet touch pass, end arounds, and they were all successful because these edge rushers are so aggressive upfield. They hit one of those and you're good. And it's kind of, if we really think about it now, that play that puts us at the 1 yard line, which we end up punching into anyways to JMO, where their edge rushers are stepping upfield or inside the 10 or expecting downhill. So everybody's just crashing, pin their ears back, get upfield. All right, we're going to go around you. It's kind of the same thing that happened on that touchdown at the end with Tristan Colon leading the way. Because everybody's thinking get upfield, lines go counter pull. But instead of working close to the line, they pop that thing way outside. They're getting all the way around everybody. You want to get upfield? Boom, we're going to run right around you. So different ways to do it. But in both cases, the same idea at heart, and both of them made a ton of sense to ultimately punch the ball into the end zone. Again, smart play calling, really smart schematics is what I would point to more so than anything. Very smart schematics. Are you going to execute it? We have to see, but we were very smart schematically. Defensively, maybe it let up a little bit in the run game, 7 yards, 2 yards, kind of just sat down on the third down and 1. They kept it going, but then a 3-yard run, you'll live with that. A 3-yard curl route, you'll live with that. Gets them into a third down, and that's when Amik Robertson misses the tackle that keeps the drive alive. So at very least, again, you didn't give up big explosives consistently in the run game. You really didn't give up any in the run game. You gave up one at the end. I would say that was probably the only one that you gave up was the double move on Amik where safety didn't help over top, which felt like more of an us issue than anything. And then in the pass game, I mean, their explosives came from really checking it down, making things happen after the catch. But it didn't really feel like we gave up a lot of true explosives in the passing game, at least early in this game when it was kind of in reach and it wasn't obvious passing down territory for them. They run the jet sweep. Maddox blows it up, 4-yard gain, a 2-yard run. They go to the pin pull. Again, we have an opportunity. We're in 3rd and 4. Don't get off the field. We got to do this. And this was something we talked about coming in too. I said, hey, I don't think we're going to get stops in the red zone. Now, credit to them. I think they stopped their first red zone attempt and forced them to a field goal. And actually, they stopped it later when they called the OPI. But I didn't think coming in we get many red zone stops. I was like, hey, we got to find a way to get off the field on 3rd down. We need some clutch moments on 3rd down. And as Saint said after the game, or as Gibbs, hey, we're going to have to score 30. That we all knew that coming in. Like the Lions, we're going to have to play them out. You got to score 30 points. You have to. You're playing a team that scores too much. So defensively, get off the field in key spots. And in this case, the 3rd down and 4, pin pull, Jack's there, doesn't make the play. Right? It's kind of stumbling down. 6-yard run or a 6-yard pass, 2-yard run, quarterback sneak. That picks up the first down. And then ultimately you do stall it out. And man, there's a lot of early down success going on here. Outside of when they start to get the run game going a touch, a lot of early down success going on for the Lions defense as a whole. A corner route that's incomplete on a boot play, a screen that Alex blows up when they cranked up the pressure on 2nd down, trying to push him back, which in hindsight's probably pretty smart because they're making 3rd and down manageable. So he cranks it up. He's trying to push him back, and he does. Sets up a 3rd down. Al-Quadi Muhammad gets to sack. Thomas sack. He gets to sack. He beats Thomas, who's their backup tackle. Again, Hutch was in there too. Both those guys win. We kind of picked on Thomas with Guyton not playing in this game. I think the plan coming out was really smart for him too. Kickoff return wise, we get back on it offensively here, and this one stalls out again. Just some goofiness. I don't blame the offense too much for this, but the offside that we thought was an offside that wasn't an offside, we kind of threw it deep and don't get a flag, and it turns into that. Because up to that point, we had done things right. We had to throw the ball away, but you get a first down. We had done things right up to that point. You get a first down, that's an incomplete pass to throw away. Then you get called for a false start. Got to eliminate those. That's Frazier. We get back into a third down and manageable because we get an angle route back up on Stewart again. We get the matchup we want, and it's 3rd down and 2, and then that weird thing happens. Again, I'm not really going to hate on the play calling there. We thought they got offside. We took the shot. I'll live with that. It's weird, but I'm going to live with that kind of goofy thing happening. And then again, defensively, we stand up. Offensively, gets off the field in a goofy way, and it's like, dude, we shouldn't have stalled out there. And what does the defense do? They force a fumble. We get the ball right back. Jack Campbell forces a fumble, and that's following a deep pass where DJ Reed gets beat. Right, it's following that where we try to bring the blitz. We try to crank it up. We just miss, and you get the shot play. Then an incomplete pass on a rollout, a 6-yard pass underneath, and then the check down, which turns into the forced fumble by Jack Campbell. So, again, I think a lot of this first down stuff, we were pretty positive on early downs, it looks like. There was one explosive that we see that was given up there, but we made them work. We made them work. We gave ourselves a chance, and we weren't getting gashed on the ground game, which was a huge part of this too. Then again, offensively, we take over and we take advantage. We probably shouldn't have taken advantage because we about beat ourselves again. A false start immediately puts us back. We get a 2-yard run, and we get called for a false start. We get back into it a little bit with Isaac Tesla, kind of brings us back into it, and then that's when Jameson Williams delivers. He beats Deron Bland one-on-one. That was a matchup that, you like coming into this game, and J-Mo delivered. He beats him one-on-one, and I actually think it worked out better for him because typically when I don't like those deep curls for J-Mo, it's when they're sitting in zone because I don't think he sinks incredibly well at the top of the route. Well, the thing is, if you're playing man and he burns you off the line, now all of a sudden he's got you going. Like there is no, they can play top down, they can break on the ball. He's trying to get back in the play. So it actually works to his advantage to be able to snap it off when a guy's trying to get back into the play and creates that separation for him. And it was a beautifully ran route. We try to hit the shot after that. It's incomplete. Then you go right to Dave Montgomery and you pop it for a touchdown right behind Penei Sewell. You get Monty going a little bit. But really, we're seeing you're opening a lot of this with your passing game. Right now, your running game, not a 2-yard run. You're opening it through passing the football. You're able to play that style of game. We have to be able to play multiple styles of game. We're still working for the consistency in the run game, no question. And I think over the last 2 weeks, we started to kind of bring back to life David Montgomery in this offense, which is giving me some optimism. It's not there yet, but it's coming back. We're seeing it. We're seeing glimpses of like, okay, this is kind of what we remember here, right? And Gibbs really becoming a full-time receiver for us. I mean, not full-time receiver, but like we said it earlier today, he's kind of got to be like our Kavontae Turpin, where he's kind of a receiver too. He's becoming that because every time we throw it to him, good things happen. And against this team, it was perfect because you had a lot of opportunity underneath. You knew they were going to play soft, but this just has to continue with Gibbs. It's where we're at personnel-wise. It's what he's so talented at because, dude, like, they just don't have, like, there's not good matches for this guy. And he's essentially a receiver, man. And he's putting that on display. It's awesome to watch it that we're getting to that point with Jahmyr Gibbs because it felt like early in his career, like we weren't there. And then we kind of started to get to it to an extent. Now we're really leaning into it, which is awesome. And again, defensively, like, think about this. So they had a 46-yard drive that was 16 plays, and they didn't score a touchdown. I mean, as a defense, that's a win against these guys. Making them work that much to not get a touchdown, that's a win. It's an absolute win. First down, we go to zone coverage. They're trying to go to that, curl flat. It's not there. He's got to hold the ball. He hits the opposite side to get 5 yards. They get the quick hinge, pick up the first down to rate. A 3-yard run. Hutch stops it. And Hutch was making a lot of plays against the run. I think that's where he actually felt him the most, obviously on a stat sheet specifically. They get called, the PI that offsets, 4-yard run, 5-yard slant, an incomplete pass, which was Amik Robertson doing a great job underneath, kind of carrying the route. Again, I thought the safety should have been over top. He never got there. An incomplete pass. Shout out to Amik in that spot. Obviously, the second one didn't go as well. That's got to be cleaned up for sure. I don't think Max ever went over top there. Rocky Singh gave up the slant route. We gave up a slant to CeeDee Lamb, too. They kind of hit the sit down. They end up having to kick a field goal on this drive. But I just like the fact that they made them work so much on a drive like this. Right? Like, you're looking at this thing, and it's like, okay, 2-yard run, 1-yard run, incomplete pass, sack. I love that, man. They made them work a lot in this game. They didn't just give them the explosive on the ground. They didn't give them the explosive in the pass game. When they did, at very least, it wasn't for a touchdown outside of the one. So at least they made them work for a majority of this one. And after giving up that, offensively, we go down and we respond. Like, they go get their field goal before half. We immediately get those points right back. We're aggressive. And also, again, that's kind of playing to the game, like understanding, like, hey, we're passing the ball well, so let's be aggressive to get the ball back. We got the ball back, 50 seconds. We go down the field, and they made it look easy. Made it easy getting down the field. Out route, Gibbs on an angle. Out route, St. Brown, throw away. And then that's when you have the incomplete pass to St. Brown, but it draws the defensive pass interference. Got him on that slot fade. You probably could have threw it back shoulder, but he was sitting underneath, so you go over top, you get the PI, great. And then you take that shot to the end zone. And that one obviously hurts us because we probably would have dropped 50 against these dudes. Make the field goal, you score that touchdown. We would drop 50 on these dudes. We should have. We should have dropped 50 on these dudes. But my guess is Goff had thrown that before he even saw what Tesla's guys fall, because we do that all the time. So he throws it to the pylon. His guys fall down. It's frustrating. He's like, oh my gosh, his dude fell down. That would have been a touchdown. But ultimately, we did our job up to that point. Goofy things are going to happen, but they did their job, and they kicked the field goal, made the field goal. We get that 11-point lead back, and immediately we really take control of the game. Yeah, Gibbs with the ball in space is a problem, right? Like, I want to get Monty going in the run game, and I think it just makes sense to really start getting Monty really fed in the run game again, because you're going to use Gibbs so much in the passing game. You're going to wear him down if you run him a ton too. I understand wanting the ball in his hands, but I also like the fact that I think Monty cuts better. But you're going to wear him down, and if you're using Monty Gibbs so much in the passing game now, you don't want to do that. And he's so dynamic in the passing attack, like literally. Him in space is such a disaster for there doesn't seem to be a good answer for it. All he does is hit the brakes and he gets upfield and nobody can touch him. One-on-one, he's a menace. And it's like, especially if it's not at the line of scrimmage, if he's beyond the line of scrimmage, which is actually what we talked about specifically, was passes beyond the line of scrimmage. When you throw the ball to him beyond the line of scrimmage, it's a wrap, dude. There's not a good answer for that. And he's torching dudes like that. And Monty, like Monty to me, like, relieve some of that. Don't make him take all the carries, be this involved in the pass game. Then we're gonna use him in pass pro. Like, you have Monty here for the reason. You extended him for a reason. Let Monty go a little bit here. Okay. I understand the dynamicism or whatever the heck he adds to the run game, but Monty can still run the rock, and he brings something completely different than Gibbs, which is still very valuable. But my thing is, you're just gonna use him that much in the pass game. You have to get him involved. But immediately to come out of half, see the slant, break the slant, shot to Meek. He had a rough game, but he broke on the slant, knocks it up. We get the pick, and we're set up to go score a touchdown. And on top of that, it's kind of what they said post-game, like, you can't live on slants. Their concepts are not overly crazy in my eyes, but there's a lot. There's a lot that they throw at you, and they're a very smart passing offense. But they do run a lot of those double slants. And I felt Pickens was checked out, especially on that play when Meek just jumped it. He didn't bite on any, jumped it, picked it off. Barnes made the play, and then we finish it off with I mean, what a throw. I mean, and it was such a good play too, because again, it was so smart. Like, having Gibbs swing out, you show that. It doesn't even have to be a complete fake screen. And you just hold that corner, Savon Revel, and he never flips around. He's kind of just backpedaling, and he needs to get depth, and you just drop it right over top of him. I mean, it was as good as it gets, bro. It was just watching. I was like, oh my gosh, that was beautiful. Love it. And now you're up 27-9. Game's completely in your hands. You're completely controlling it from here on out. Now, credit to them. They did respond. They did score. But again, I think you made them work for it for the most part, except for the only difference was on this drive. They found some success running the football. They found a little bit more success. They did have that one big play up the seam on Reed, which was a fantastic contested grab. Aleem was in his face. They found a little bit more success rushing the football. You get the hold on Reed. This was really a rough drive for Reed. Though, again, he did respond too. Reed did respond with a big pass breakup, just like Amik had the big tip that got us the interception. So at least they came through in some big moments. You knew you were going to have your hands full with Lamb. Like, it just is what it is. So the fact that you were able to slow down Pickens, what did Pickens have in this game, real quick? I want to check. I don't even know what his stat line was. But you knew he was a one-on-one answer on third down. And Reed came through, made the big pass breakup. Pickens was 5 for 37. Amazing. Lamb was 6 for 121. Not great. But you knew that was going to kind of happen. I would say the Ryan Flournoy having a crazy game is probably the biggest shocker of them all, which I guess is kind of the issue you deal with when you have those two guys to deal with as well. But ultimately, the fact that they slowed down Pickens was, I think that's a win in its own. Like, you knew these guys were you knew they were going to give us problems. They were just absolutely going to do it. They do it to everybody. There's not a great answer for what they have there. But ultimately, like, again, we give up this touchdown drive. It's an incomplete pass on the fade route. It's a curl. It's another incomplete pass. You got him into a 4th and 5. You still had your opportunity to get off the field, and that's when Rocky Sin just gave up kind of an easy slant. Again, that's just them winning one-on-one, something that you really do. They just won a one-on-one, and they punched it in with the counter pull. And I just like the fact that we continue to respond, like both sides over and over picking each other up. I mean, offense gets back out there, go down, get a field goal. You'd love to get a touchdown. You hit St. Brown in the shoulder pads with it, didn't catch it, didn't really expect it seemingly. But again, like the passing game's been rolling a bit. And you need to be playing your best football by the end of the year. And this, if anything, this specifically looks as good as it's looked all year to me by a mile. Like the passing attack in general looks way better than it has at any point this season. It looks so consistent right now with injuries, with hit and miss up front. Goff's playing, I think, tremendous ball right now. He's taking care of it. He's making good decisions. He's getting good looks at the line of scrimmage. Even if they don't work, you can still see it and be like, that's a good look. Like the tunnel screen that they ran when they got Tampa 2 was smart. I was like, I like that. That's at such a pace right now. You could just add some consistency where it's not negative 5 yards to Gibbs, right? Because then you get out of it. You run the tunnel to Jamo, you get 8 yards. You hit Gibbs on the little out route. He absolutely torches Deron Bland in space. Speaking of, Brandon, all right, I mean, he put on the brakes. He torched that dude to pick up the first round, keep the drive alive. Hit Jamo on a deep comeback. Great grab. Then 2 yards. Swing it out. Make it third down and manageable. And you should have had it, and it hit off of St. Brown. But that unit is rolling right now. And they should have against this team, no doubt. But they're rolling right now. And again, defensively, end up doing what you have to do the very next drive. You end up getting to stop the next drive. I think after that next drive, actually, if I remember correctly, let me get to it here. Oh yeah, we missed a field goal. That's what it was. We missed a field goal, and because of that, they kind of had a shorter field. But we ultimately ended up forcing them into a field goal. So we did step up. Again, this is a great example. We miss a field goal, we get back, and we force them to hold them to a field goal. A 3-yard run. They hit that one deep kind of overpass. I think we were in cover 6. They hit that overpass. 1-yard run, an incomplete pass by Amik Robertson. Muhammad gets some pressure. They had a nice grab there by Ferguson. But then an offensive pass interference that Rocky Sin draws, an incomplete pass by DJ Reed that breaks it up on the comeback. Like, these dudes responded, man. Forced a field goal. Then offensively, you get back out there and you need to go put some points back on the board. And they do just that. And they did it in a 6-minute drive. So even though it wasn't a touchdown, it was a long drive, a 6-minute drive. It was smart play calling. And you got the run going to touch in this spot. But ultimately, man, the pass game has really come to life for us. And it's something that we can lean on right now. Defensively, we're definitely not perfect. But the run defense settled back into what it needed to be in this game. Because, look, man, the reality is if they're running all over us, like we saw in their touchdown drives, when it was like 11 yard. If that's happening, you're probably cooked against these guys because they just have too much at the receiver position. So to slow down Pickens, but specifically eliminate kind of the ability to run the ball consistently, especially when you know, like obviously I don't remember all of it live, but when you know there's a lot of 2-deep coverage being settled in that they're running the ball against and you're not giving up an explosive, it's one thing to give up a 7-yard run. It stinks, but it's not 40. As soon as you give those up, it's a wrap. And they're such a downhill team. They're such a mauling team, lead back type of team that they're going to try to push you around all game long. To kind of settle that and corral that, honestly feels like the difference defensively. And again, this is the second straight week. I think our offense has really kept us in it by that passing attack. That said, though, we found a little bit more Dave Montgomery, which was nice. Yeah, I mean, feels good to get back in the win column, bro. That's where it's at for me, man. Jerry really needs to watch the game tape. We'll see. I ain't gonna, Jerry do what Jerry do. Jerry do what Jerry do. You know what I mean? Like, hey, do what you want to do. Lions, today's in the chat. I see you, man. How you doing? All right, look, man, over here on BR, we're gonna get out of here, man. I appreciate y'all joining. I will see you guys. What is today? Today's Thursday. What day am I gonna say? I think tomorrow. I gotta figure it out. I think tomorrow. Might be Sunday. Hold up. I think it's tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Have a great night. 8-5. We're back in it. We're right there, dude. We're right where we need to be. Right down the stretch. 4 more to go. We're on to LA. I'll see y'all then. We out. YouTube. Shout out to my man Elias today. I see you, man. How you doing? Oh, this feels so good, doesn't it? This feels so good. This feels so good. Oh, gosh. I got to be honest. This feels like, I think this is the best feeling win so far this season. Like, hands down, dude. There's just something, like, just understanding how important this game was. And then also on top of that, beating Dallas. Like, when it's like, oh, Dallas is back, baby. Beating Kansas City and Philly. Like, dude, there's just nothing. There's nothing more beautiful than this. This was fantastic. Made Dak throw 50 times. Dude, that's as good as it gets, man. Like, you were going to get beat one-on-one. You were going to get beat up front occasionally. They just have dudes. That's going to happen. You live with those. But I think the recipe ended up playing out how they wanted to. I just love the fact that they were able to lean into winning with the pass and understanding that that's where they struggle and just kind of exploiting that. Like, I think it was really cool that they were able to do that. And that unit is executing at that level right now. I mean, if you really throw out just the occasional, like, okay, Saint slipped or he wasn't expecting the ball, or Goff kind of throws it out of bounds when Tesla's guys fall down. I mean, if you throw out that kind of goofiness or the false starts that put us behind, we're executing at an extremely high level passing the ball. Like concept wise, we get guys open. We get matchups we like. We have the dudes to make the plays. Jameson delivered. I thought it was his best game this season. St. Brown delivered, as always. Like Gibbs is, like I said, he's basically a receiver for us now. Bro, when you got that, man, this is where we need to be. This is where we need to be. It's where we got to continue to go. Understanding that, we got the Rams next because Rams going to be indoors and they're going to put up a lot of points and the mindset's got to be the same. They might score 40. Like, we got to score a lot again. And we got the dudes to do it. You know what I mean? You got to be able to win different ways. This was the first time this year I think we won this way specifically because we've done this in the past now, right? Don't forget, like, we've won games in the past where it's been heavy pass and it wasn't much running and we just understood the game was going to be we're going to throw it a lot. That's their weakness. We're going to do that. That was the game in this game. Was like we're going to have to win the football game like that. That was the mindset. We did it. I'm not saying this is the best coverage unit. It's not the best we're going to see by any means. Pass rush is pretty good. It's not elite, but it's pretty good. But it's good to do it because I just don't think we've done it this year. I think every win has kind of felt the same. Okay, we probably ran all over them. Washington, we ran all over them. Every win's kind of felt pretty similar. Giants ran all over them. Gibbs did. Tampa Bay, I don't remember Tampa Bay extremely well. I mean, we shut them down basically. But every game's kind of felt similar. This one felt different. This is a different way to win this season. We need that. We needed a different way to win. So, beautiful. Honestly, I couldn't ask for any more. Couldn't ask for any more, man. I hear Davenport's game. I didn't hear his name get called. I mean, I saw him out there getting pressure, but I don't think he got any statistics. Hey, just disrupt, man. That's all I'm asking for. Just disrupt. Really, for him, I just want him to play the run well. That's what we need. We need his DNs to play the run. I thought Hutch came through a lot against the run specifically. I don't know how much Davenport did, but Hutch was coming through against the run. I need those guys to play the run because then we can keep Aleem inside, and that gives us such an advantage when Aleem could just go after people in the interior because. Said every offensive line usually has some weaknesses. If you have a guy that can exploit on the interior and not really get helped, all of a sudden, man. And Tyler came through a little bit too. Give him some love. Derek Barnes was a good blitzer for us. Obviously, Jack Campbell's been one all year. Derek Barnes was getting some heat. These guys came through, man. Gave that running back some problems, bro. They have Fitz back there trying to pick that up. They have real Fitz trying to pick it up. Muhammad's doing good. Again, Hutch was cooking though. Like Hutch was absolutely torching dude all second half. He just didn't have the sack. But those two guys, I mean, outside the one where he was like dead tired and kind of got knocked down, those two guys together like that, bro, you got something for sure. And it really is nice to see Muhammad get back going because it felt like for a while there they had Muhammad and then it was like they kind of just stopped using him and they kind of went through that phase of like, let's go Tyler Lacey, let's get a big DN. And then as soon as they they started to go to Ellie McNeil once he came back, then it's like, all right, well, hold up. We still do got this guy named Muhammad. Let's maybe, kind of sprinkle him back in. And that rotation between him and Davenport should be really strong going forward. I think that's going to be really strong going forward. Hopefully, Brian Branch is okay. Yes, hopefully Branch is okay because that's a big one. We need him. And we'll see where it goes. But a lot of guys played through some stuff today, man. Shout out to them. Shout out to Maddox. I love it. All right, chat. Look, man, we're going to get out of here. I appreciate y'all joining. Lions 8-5 on to the Rams. Right where we need to be. We needed this one, man. We were fired up this week. If you saw any of our shows this week, man, we were fired up this week, knowing how important this game was. If you watch our show right after the game, the day after the game, what we were talking about, like, if we're going to do it, it starts now. It has to start now. Thank goodness it started now, bro. Oh, my goodness. Way to freaking deliver. Hey, I'll say this. It was about our best players being great. They were very good last game, but they weren't great. I'll say our best players were pretty great today. I'll give him that nod. Like, St. Brown as much as he could with his injury, but Jameson, I think, was great. I'll say that. Jared Goff, he was pretty close to great today. There wasn't, it was pretty close to great. Like, these guys, man, they delivered. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. I'm going to get out of here. I'll see y'all soon. Have a good night. 8-5. That's good. Feels really good.